country, then we may know less about it.
Read about the country, but I couldn't possibly know if I haven't been there.
So,
I was using
do I have to be a woman to be truthful?
I was using your lack of rationality against you just to show you.
How have I been irrational?
You asked me if I've been there as if...
Why did I ask you for?
Again, I'm saying it again. You asked if I've been there as if I could possibly know or not know, read something, hear something, know, learn about something. Based
Let me
on
tell you why I
my
asked you.
physical abilities to do that.
Let me tell you why I asked you. If, for
I will
example...
find you answers while you're talking. I will try to find you.
Go ahead, no problem. You take your time. I have enough time, no problem. So what I'm saying is, sometimes we may not know what's happening politically, economically in a country unless we've been there inside. Like if you haven't been into North Korea, for example, you don't know what's happening in there. If you haven't been to China,
You can have some ideas about laws.
right? Some idea, but this some I agree. But there's some ideas that you may have.
Arabia doesn't have their
May
laws open for
I
people.
finish?
But the answer
Some
to the
ideas
question
that you may
the
have
actual answer
may
to the
be
question
mistaken.
was, you are saying that a country is not run, Muslim countries are not run by Muslim people who study the Quran. And I'm saying they are run by people who study the Quran.
Where did Saudi Arabia implement this law? Women cannot have properties. Where do you get this from? Where do you get this
You're
from?
twisting all the things I'm saying.
What have I twisted?
So what I
So
said...
you keep accusing me. What have I twisted?
So what I said...
What have I twisted? Sorry.
He's asking me a question, but will not let me...
No, you accuse me of twisting. I would like you to
He
substantiate.
immediately starts talking as soon as I'm trying to answer the question.
Oh, go ahead, you're answering.
So
I'm
he
sorry.
just talks in and
No,
talks
no,
over
I'm
us.
sorry, you are answering. He's just going to tell us how I'm twisting. Go ahead.
Are you actually going to let me? Talking to men is so funny sometimes.
Now it's a man and woman issue.
How did I come up to you? You were talking to a man about a man and woman issue, about jumping
I'm
in
letting you
and
speak.
talking
I
over
have a
it.
problem with that.
Okay, I'll just have to talk over you because you keep jumping in on me. I talked about a bunch of points and then you jumped on this one and you started talking about it in a way that I didn't actually specify and say this. I didn't say all of this stuff exactly. You asked me, tell me a scholar, and I'm telling you that scholars that study the Quran, that study what they believe the Quran to be, are the people who come together and make decisions for countries that are run by what they call Muslim law. And you can say it's not Muslim law. You can say, you told me that you disagree, that they're not running the way the Quran says. But I'm just saying, I might agree with you. However, it is scholars of the Quran who come together and say this is what the interpretation is and these are the laws we're making based on the Quran. I don't need to give you exact names of all the mullahs, imams, the other people, but there are. You can't refute that these all these countries are completely, you can't refute that all these countries are not people who study.
Do you know why I'm challenging you on this point? There is something in Islam known by necessity. There's a principle in Islam called al-ma'lum min ad-din bid-darura. What is known in the religion by necessity. Every Muslim knows that. For example, drinking alcohol, committing fornication, adultery. Can I finish my point? 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 Yeah, without being interrupted? Without being interrupted? Without being interrupted?
Are you going to just speak false points then? Stay to the point. Don't
Without being interrupted?
Stay to the point.
Without being interrupted.
Stay to the point.
So I can interrupt you like you interrupt me. That's you're telling me. Fine, no problem. I will interrupt you when you speak too. So.
You did. No, you did. You continuously interrupted me. But then you start speaking false points. And you
What
change
false
the
points?
subject.
What false points?
You're talking about how alcohol isn't in the Quran. It's very specific in the Quran.
What am I saying? Alcohol isn't in the Quran?
Yeah, you used alcohol as a point to say that there's things that aren't in the Quran that are just known.
That
It
aren't
is
in the Quran.
It is in the Quran. About drinking.
Did I say it's not in the Quran?
You said that it's a known thing, that there's things, and you use that as an example. It is in the Quran. About not drinking. That one
Do
I
you
know.
even understand what I'm talking about? I am saying there are things that are known by necessity. Do you know why? Because they're already mentioned explicitly. In the Quran says, do not approach, do not drink, right? Don't come to prayer when you're drunk. There's several levels of alcohol bannings in the Quran. So if a scholar now decides to say, it's okay to sell alcohol and run alcoholic business in your country, in a Muslim country, in Saudi Arabia or otherwise, we know that these are wrong. This legislation that is derived from this faulty interpretation is not rooted in Islamic text. Likewise, women, whether they can own businesses, properties, lands, any kind of ownership. It is known by necessity because of the explicit text in the Islamic sources. That is my point. Instead of saying, oh, I don't know, maybe I've heard it wrong, let me go and check up with my friend who's a scholar, rather than assuming, wait, don't interrupt. Rather than,
saying something I didn't say, I will interrupt. It sounds like we got a riot.
That's not going to help you. These discussions are going to help you in argument.
If there's something going on that I need to leave...
Don't worry, we've got police over there. Look, can you see the police car? Can you move a little bit? Can you see the police car? Not just waiting just for you.
I see why
Look,
nobody's
over there.
talking to you over there.
Can you see? That police car is going to protect you. Don't worry about it. I will call that police. Something is going to, any harm going to come to you. I will give my life to protect you.
Did you not hear what is happening over there? You just spoke something. You're like, I'm just going to ignore.
Hang on. What happened over there? What happened over there?
There was a whole bunch of noise and stuff.
Oh, noise. So you're interested in the noise rather than a meaningful discussion. So, second point.
If I'm trying to protect and make
Second.
sure. No. You're being very rude right now, and that's where I am today.
Are you running?
There was a bunch of noise and whistling. Just because you didn't
happens all
hear
the time.
it,
Are you the first time you speak
I was
Spanish?
taking a moment to make sure
First time she's
about
coming
my
here.
safety and surroundings and what's happening.
We will
over
protect
there.
you here.
Don't worry, there is a...
Two ladies here, Muslim ladies, will
That
protect
has
you.
nothing to do with it. It wasn't necessarily you guys. It was
They will protect you. If you distrust a Muslim man, Muslim woman will protect you.
Stupid. You're just being really dismissive and rude. I would protect them and you just the same. However, if there's something going on over there, it's good for our conversation to take a friggin' moment to stop to see if we need to maybe just have something else happen.
Oh, she's coming
Because
with
our
group.
conversation is not actually the most important thing in the world. If people were dying over there,
Oh, people are dying in Speaker's Corner. You've come into a battlefield, isn't it?
This disrespect is how
You
we
call that
end it.
disrespect?
He just runs in circles and gets disrespectful. Now we're done.
She's
Of
running.
course you're done, because you have no argument. You've been rinsed. You've been rinsed by the Saudis, you've been rinsed by Moroccans. What else do you have to defend?
See?
Not Saudis, but you know about Saudi
Now
Arabia.
this is what you do. He just twists it and says,
What did I
he
twist
has
about?
won- He has won the argument because he's...
Did I say I won the argument?
No.
Yes, he just did.
You got yourself rinsed for the argument.
Let her run.
If you cannot handle the argument,
in the
it's not my problem. It's not my problem.
She's
Anyway,
in the spot. Give them.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, just to show to the whole world, we live in an interesting world in which people have interesting perspectives. What the lady initially was disagreeing with the principle about, we should be treating everyone that you are innocent until proven guilty. You were disagreeing with it initially. But when challenged, she said, oh, I sort of agree with it. So there are people out there who think you are the worst person. You are not truthful, you are deceitful, you are perhaps a terrorist, a murderer, and so on. This is the mentality people have nowadays. We need to address this. We need to know, why is this so? Is it because they've been brainwashed by something they read, something they hear? What is brainwashing them? What is programming them?
The Daily Mail.
What can we do to help them? The discussion that we wanted to have, as you can see, she became very toxic in that discussion. She couldn't handle a basic, minimal level discussion in terms of having the basic understanding that it's okay, you seem to be a nice guy, so let me have a conversation with you. Instead, the toxicity becomes quite clear. If this is the level of intolerance people are demonstrating, we as Muslims have a lot to do. Is it because our character, the way we behave, is it because I misbehaved here? Then please tell me what I need to do to rectify myself. There's something definitely wrong with my approach, something definitely wrong with the way I speak, the way I communicate. Or maybe she was already toxic before. In fact, that's what she told me in the very beginning. She had a conversation over there and she experienced that. So the toxicity she's now got is not just me personally, with all my witnesses, but she has been toxified, if I want to use this word. So what can Muslims do? Number one, we need to remember that if we are we are so strong and so, in our approach, then we are not going to win the hearts of people. We have to remember we need to be softer. This conversation demanded something different in my estimation. Softness is not something what she needed because I started soft at the very beginning. Didn't do anything wrong. What happens? I mean, I may be wrong in my estimation, but if you go to a doctor and you go with a pain, and the doctor gives you paracetamol, comes back again, next day, says, I'm still having pain. Is he going to be soft and give you, let me give you painkiller paracetamol again? It's not going to work. He has to give you something stronger. So when someone is not reasonable with a soft approach, perhaps there's something wrong with the psyche. You need to really stir them up in their intellect, inside, so that they can be a bit more logical and rational and consistent. We saw inconsistency. So what can we do then? Assalamu alaikum. We are seeing a lot of people, Sheikh, they have very negative image of Muslims. The lady has traveled to Muslim countries, and yet she thinks Islam does not give right to women to inherit, not inherit, or any property whatsoever. Whatever belongs to the husband or brother or son, whatever. She has no right to inherit, own her own land, house, business and property. So when I asked her, where from? Where did you get that from? Or scholars. Scholars decided. So, is it true in Saudi Arabia women cannot own any property or businesses?
That's not true. I mean, neither in Saudi Arabia. In fact, I know a senior businesswoman actually in Saudi Arabia. A senior businesswoman asked a certain fatwa about the amount of zakat, which means they had a humongous amount of zakat that they pay every year, and they are asking about the details how they can use their zakat, and they are asking about other personal things. So that's not true. I'm not here. I'm not Saudi. I'm not here to defend any government or any country or whatever, including my own country. There are some habits from the Muslims, which is bad habits from the Muslims. This is not necessarily from Islam. Islam honored the women. Islam honored and give them the right to inherit, give them the right to trade. And even at the time of the Jahiliyyah, women, they didn't have that right. They didn't have these rights. And yet when the Prophet ﷺ came, he gave them their rights. And in fact, he ﷺ, he said even that for them to come to the masjid to own or to trade, and at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there used to be women who used to be merchants and known with this. And there is a famous hadith that one of the women who her husband died, and then she said there is another woman who is a widow or a divorcee, but she is a rich woman. She came to ask the Prophet ﷺ, she said, can I go and do my iddah at her house, to this woman's house? And then the Messenger of Allah ﷺ, he said, no, that woman, many men go to her place, meaning many men goes to her place because she was a merchant. So people, they come and trade with her. Then he told her to go to do iddah somewhere else. That shows during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, women used to be senior business women, senior, not just on a big scale. And the Prophet ﷺ, the best example, he married Khadija radiallahu anha, and she was as senior business as women radiallahu anha. And the same thing for any Muslim countries. You find many women, they have their own business, they have their own trade, they have their own thing. But the problem is, which is we have to face it as Muslims, that people mix Islam with culture. Certain culture, which is literally demonizing women, putting women down, that's the culture. This is not from Islam. And that's totally, which is not acceptable.
So this is quite clear now. Islam does not prohibit or prevent women having ownership of wealth, land, property, and things, finances whatsoever. So the reason why people have this misconception must come from somewhere, and you gave one of the examples, is our own cultural practices may have given the wrong impression. So as Muslims then, we have a role and responsibility, duty, to tell the people what is Islamic teaching in contrast to what our cultures are that needs modifying, our culture needs uplifting to the ideals of Islam. Now, what other things Muslims do to remove this negative impression of Islam from communities like we've seen here, even in Britain, in the age of technological advancement and information, people have misconception about Islam, what we believe, and what our faiths are. So what should be the role and responsibility of Muslims, lay people, and our scholars?
First of all, we need to understand a few things. That even our bad practices in some Muslim countries, it doesn't have an impact on their own system. It actually has impact on the Islamic image. Because people nowadays, as you mentioned, during the technological, for example, nowadays, people, they can see things now, they can observe certain things and certain practices by Muslims. For example, in some countries in the Middle East, still women, they cannot claim their right of inheritance. They cannot do it because of the culture. Even people, the culture, they will look down on a woman who's doing this, where she's doing the Islamic right. And the courts, the Islamic courts, as well, supporting them to claim their rights. So what we have to do firstly, to educate our people about these things, about these issues, to educate women. And here, that's the key thing, the key role is to educate them about their rights in Islam. Because unfortunately, not many women, they are educated about their own deen. They think, should I do that? Because she thinks, because of the cultural aspect, thinking that she's not entitled for it. She's not entitled for her inheritance. She's not entitled for her rights as a Muslim, as a woman, or as a human being. Now, because of this, that they have to be educated first. Secondly, educating the culture. We have to remove all of these misconceptions from this culture. And we have to say, these cultural things, this is not from Islam. Actually, those are things from the Jahiliyyah, from the pre-Islamic time, which Islam came and banned them, stopped them. And at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, for example, you'll find at the time of Umar Khattab, a woman will stop Umar Khattab to talk about certain things. On the khutbah, she will say to him, no, you said such and such, when Allah said such and such. Can you imagine? That's how much they have the freedom to speak and to stop a Khalifa, a leader of the Ummah, which he was ruling Iraq and Syria and even and Egypt and all of these countries was under his leadership. And yet the Ummah will stop him in the khutbah to tell him, this is what you said is wrong. My point is, because that's the amount of education. This is the time. The same women who are, if you go back a few years before, they used to be buried alive. So Islam shifts them to have not just only the right, they claim their right, they are as well entitled to interfere with the politics, with certain things, which is, and they are entitled to do that. That's from Islam, from Islamic teaching. So we have to educate our communities about the rights of women in Islam and what the women, what Allah gave them, and we have to separate it between cultural things and as well Islamic principles. As well, it is the duty of the scholars and people and influencers. It is their duty as well to raise awareness about these things, in order to give what is the right image of Islam, to educate the people, Muslims and non-Muslims, about what Islam is talking about. We have to point out to say this is not from Islam, and Islam is saying 1, 2, 3. This is the duty of Islam, of the Muslims, and this is the duty of the scholars and the influencers to educate the public and the masses about these things, and to remove these misconceptions, and to tackle these issues, these things, because at the end of the day, this is the important thing, is the image of Islam to the others. The image of Islam, we don't want the image of Islam to be, for example, to be looked at it as backward, as something that demonized or dehumanized, for example, women. That's not right. Actually, Islam is to give the right to the people who have the right. And Allah says in the Quran, Allah يَأْمُرُ أَن تُؤَدُّوا الْأَمَانَاتِ إِلَى أَهْلِهَا. Allah commands you to fulfill the trust to the people who have the authority of it, whether men or women or men, the same thing. Yeah? وَإِذَا حَكَمْتُم بَيْنَ النَّاسِ تَحْكُمُوا بِالْعَدْلِ. And if you judge between people, you judge according to the justice, as Allah said in the Quran. So Allah has mentioned this in the Quran. So this is the message of the Quran, and this is the message of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And in fact, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to Eid, in the day of Eid, will give khutbah to everyone, men and women, and will go specify women with a khutbah for them. Which is again, that's a neglected and an abandoned sunnah from not many khutbah, they do it all day. He will specify women to give them khutbah for them. That's how much they used to be precious in the sight of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why he used to do that.